Jen Dice here with Status Coup, and tell me your names.
Rita Johnson.
Harletta Martin.
And what brought you out here today? Obviously, we're here at a Joe Biden event in Flint, Michigan. What brought you here today?
Well, we're both veterans, so that's our concern. Veterans benefits getting cut. So we think that Biden's is a really good choice when it comes to helping the veterans.
What specifically are in his policies that you prefer about that?
Well, first of all, I think the war, going to war, to me, that's the last resort. And we do not need a president that has the power to call war. That's very dangerous, especially when we don't know what we're going to war for.
So specifically, you're talking about Donald Trump and his entry into mindless wars.
He needs to. We need to remove him.
So would you say that's a top concern for you is removing Trump?
Well, as a veteran, yes. Yes, that's a very big concern. And the economy as well.
For sure. Well, speaking of the economy, what do you say about Joe Biden's past support for NAFTA and the trade deals and the jobs that were lost specifically in Michigan due to the trade deals that he's supported in the past?
Okay, well, let's just say this. We do need to work on trade because there is a big disparity. The automobile industry, steel, things like that. There is a big disparity in that. However, that still does not give Trump the right to basically just cut off everything from any other country to say, look, this is what it is. It's not right. It's lopsided. And since it's lopsided, we're going to stop doing business. That's not a good way to negotiate. That's the way you run your business, but this is the United States. So we need to be more open than that.
What would you say? Okay, so obviously, again, we are in Flint, Michigan. The previous governor here was Governor Rick Snyder. Some of the same, I see the expression on your face. No one here is a big fan of Governor Snyder. That would be correct, yeah?
That's correct.
So what would you say about the fact that some of the same billionaires who donated to Rick Snyder have also donated to Joe Biden this time around, are trying to get him into office? Does that affect your vote or decision at all?
Well, some of the billionaires that have donated to Trump, who has donated to Bernie, they've donated, they're lobbyists. That's what they're going to do.
Just to correct that, no billionaire has donated to Bernie at all.
I stand corrected on Bernie, but Trump, any other politician, because if that's the case, he's one in a million.
Well, let's talk about Bernie for a second here. Now we're down to a two-person race essentially. Tulsi Gabbard is still in the race, but between Bernie and Biden, why are you supporting Biden over Bernie? Do you want to?
Well, I'm looking at an age factor. Sometimes I think that's very important. So I lean more towards Biden for the read-ups I've done on him. And when it comes to age, I just feel like he may be more apt to do what he needs to do with a more sound mind.
They're about the same age, actually, and actually some people have noticed that Joe Biden seems to be having trouble remembering certain things. He stumbled over Obama's name a couple times. He said he was running for Senate. He's said that he was a vice president in the 70s. He's made a lot of stumbles or gaffes or mistakes. Does that concern you, this chatter about a cognitive decline potentially with Joe Biden?
I'm going to have to research that a little further because I haven't seen that part of him. So I will definitely have to look into that.
Sure, understandably. What about you?
Well, when you said he stumbled, I mean, when you're out every day on a campaign trail, I mean, of course you're going to stumble. I don't know who haven't stumbled. So to call that out and to say that's specific, that's a little reach. That's far reaching to me.
Okay. Another thing that I definitely want to bring up is this is along the same lines. Joe Biden has recently said that he was arrested on his way to meet Nelson Mandela against apartheid. That turned out to be not true. He also has said that he fought for civil rights. That also turned out to not be true. Do those things concern you?
Well, I haven't heard that, but I'm sure that would concern me. That would concern me.
Sure, understandably again.
Yeah, that is a concern. I have to do a little more research and I have a little more time. But yeah, I hadn't heard of that.
Of course, and I think probably the majority of people haven't, so that's why we ask these questions. let's talk specifically about Flint. Governor Whitmer has come out in support of Joe Biden. How do you feel like Whitmer has done for the people of Flint? She did promise to reopen the free bottled water pods. That hasn't happened yet. Does that concern you?
Let me say this. Did she promise to reopen the bottled water distribution? Because I didn't think she promised to open that, because that was part of the lawsuit in which was settled with the ACLU, in which the bottled water was only supposed to be distributed to December, until December.
Right. So
2019. So I'm not familiar with her promising to open the distribution of water again, the sites.
it was one of her campaign issues. Other than that, we really haven't heard much of an update about that. So going back to Joe Biden, what do you feel like from what he said today, what will he do for the people of Flint? Because the water's still not fixed. You guys are still fighting. You mentioned the lawsuit.
Well, I'm going to say this. Hopefully he will send more money into the Flint area, because as you know, infrastructure is very expensive, and we didn't do this to ourselves. You know, this was well thought out, because no one person made the decision. The request was sent to the governor's office, and it had to be approved somewhere. So to say that basically we created this situation, no, the governor created the situation. And like I said, I think the government needs to repair the situation. And if we need more funding, then we need to ensure that we receive more funding, proper funding, to take care of not only the infrastructure, but the children that was affected by the lead poisoning.
Absolutely. How about you?
I'm a Saginaw native, but I pray for Flint every day.
Of course, and we all do. We do a lot of journalism here in Flint, and we feel for you. Our hearts go out to you.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, ladies. That was wonderful. I appreciate your time.